As the leaves turn, jack-o'-lanterns flicker to life, and the veil between worlds begins to thin, we dive into the world of Haitian cryptids and supernatural beings. Prepare for a journey featuring demons, werewolves, witches, and zombies, but not as you've seen them before. Imagine a moonlit clearing where a Bokor, a witch of dark magic, performs forbidden rituals. Not far away, a Houngan and a Mambo, Voodoo's revered priests and priestesses, call upon the Lougarou, powerful spirits that bridge the mortal and divine. But beware, for among these Lougarou lurks Mèt Kalfou, a demon gatekeeper, his very presence twisting reality. As you venture deeper into the Haitian night, you might stumble upon a zombie, not the mindless flesh-eaters of Halloween lore, but a soul trapped in a terrifying limbo between life and death. The rustling in the underbrush could be a Lougarou, a fearsome vampire-werewolf hybrid, stalking its prey. Try not to fall asleep, lest the Koushmá, a paralyzing sleep demon, pins you to your bed. And that streak of fire across the sky? It might be the Soucouyant, a shape-shifting vampire leaving her human skin behind as she searches for victims. In the depths of the forest, listen for the clanking chains of Bakulubaka, a demon so wicked even other spirits shun him. And in every shadow, every whisper of wind, feel the presence of Dyab, the embodiment of evil itself, always watching, always waiting. These aren't just Halloween stories, dear viewer. From bustling Port-au-Prince to remote mountain villages, Haitians report encounters with these entities to this day. So bolt your doors, arm yourself with salt and protective charms, and join Dead Net Studios as we step into a realm where voodoo magic reigns supreme, and the boundary between our world and the next is frighteningly thin. You can subscribe for more journeys into the unexplained. The shadows of Haiti are calling. Are you brave enough to answer this Halloween season? First, we have the Bokor Voodoo's feared sorcerers, known for their mastery of both light and dark magic. Unlike the Thos who is called through lineage to serve as a priest, a Bokor is self-taught, driven by a hunger for power and knowledge. Bokors operate outside this sacred hierarchy, where morality is fluid and their intentions often suspect. Bokors are skilled in casting spells that can tear at the fabric of a person's life. Their most feared practice involves blood hexes, using items like hair or nail clippings to drain the victim's essence, leaving them weak and vulnerable. Bokors are also known for their ability to commune with powerful spirits. Using vive symbols, rum, cigars, and animal sacrifices, they summon the Loa, spirits who can be persuaded to act in destructive ways. However, darkness doesn't always define a Bokor. Some use their abilities for protection, healing, or to balance out perceived injustices, showing that their craft isn't purely malevolent. Their services are cheaper and more accessible than using official voodoo priests, making them a lifeline for those who feel they have no other options. The line between good and evil is blurred, and a Bokor's work depends on who seeks their power. Some Bokors take their quest for power further, forging pacts with demonic entities. They carve symbols into their own flesh, sealing the wounds with blood and herbs to bind themselves to dark forces. While such pacts grant immense strength, they risk corrupting the Bokor's soul. Many pay a heavy price, their lives unraveling under the weight of the forces they've tried to control. Their most insidious tools are essence-binding amulets, trapping a piece of a person's soul to gain control over them. Those bound by these amulets suffer from nightmares and a gradual loss of free will, eventually becoming empty husks, zombies devoid of spirit, serving the Bokor's command. Second, we have the Houngans and Mambo's Voodoo's revered priests and priestesses, who serve as protectors of light and guardians of tradition. Initiated through lineage and called by the spirits, Houngans and Mambos act as intermediaries between the human and spiritual worlds, using their abilities to heal, guide, and restore balance. They lead ceremonies in candlelit peristyles where drums pound and smoke rises as they call upon the spirits for guidance and protection. Their altars, adorned with vibrant sequined flags, are spaces of reverence and power. Through dance, chants, and offerings, they invoke the Loa to provide clarity and support. While generally aligned with benevolent forces, Houngans and Mambos are not limited to only positive acts. Their knowledge includes the ability to perform darker rituals, though they are careful to ensure karmic balance. Unlike Bokors, who operate outside the traditional hierarchy and offer their services without moral restraint, Houngans and Mambos act as gatekeepers, upholding the principles of voodoo. They are less likely to perform harmful spells unless justified, making those desperate for revenge seek out Bokors instead. Their influence extends beyond rituals and ceremonies. In communities where law enforcement is distrusted, Houngans and Mambos often act as arbiters, their spiritual authority reinforcing justice. Fear of mystical retribution enforces order, deterring wrongdoers where traditional systems fail. As keepers of tradition, they preserve Voodoo's complex liturgy and oral history, ensuring the continuation of knowledge through apprenticeships and teachings. Their guidance is sought by secret societies like the Bizango, who rely on their wisdom to safeguard ancient practices. Their words carry weight in times of political upheaval, as their prophecies and guidance have historically shaped events and influenced leaders. Houngans and Mambos are more than just spiritual leaders. They are the heart of Haitian Voodoo, bridging the visible and invisible worlds and providing hope, healing, and wisdom for those in need. Third, we have the Loa, powerful spirits at the core of Voodoo, revered as neither demons nor gods, but as intermediaries between the human and spiritual realms. Much like Catholics call on saints, practitioners invoke the Loa for blessings, protection, healing, or guidance, and sometimes for darker purposes like curses or revenge. However, engaging with these spirits is not without complexity or consequence. Summoning the Loa involves elaborate rituals. As drums beat and incense fills the air, the spirits descend, taking possession of practitioners and transforming them into vessels of immense power. These individuals may then exhibit superhuman strength, speak with voices not their own, or engage in wild, frenzied dances, each action dictated by the Loa's will. The Loa are categorized into two primary groups: the benevolent Rada, associated with peace and healing, and the volatile Petro, who govern forces of aggression, war, and retribution. During possession, these spirits blur the line between human and supernatural, but their interactions are governed by strict rules and expectations. Even a single misstep, whether it's a forgotten offering or a disrespectful gesture, can provoke the Loa's wrath, resulting in dire repercussions for the practitioner and those around them. Deals with the Loa are particularly complex and fraught with risk. A promise broken or a commitment unfulfilled can lead to relentless misfortune, illness, or even generational curses that affect one's descendants. Take Papa Legba, for instance. He is the gatekeeper of the spirit world, and crossing him could mean being cut off from spiritual guidance and protection, leaving one vulnerable to malicious forces. Likewise, Baron Samedi, the master of death, is known for his unyielding sense of justice. His wrath can bring sickness, madness, or even an untimely death, with the consequences often haunting an individual's lineage for generations. Similarly, Urzuli Dantor, the fierce mother, will stop at nothing to avenge any betrayal, often turning her wrath upon entire families, shattering relationships and sowing discord that lingers long after the initial offense. Despite their unpredictability, the Loa remain central figures in Haitian Voodoo, embodying both light and darkness. To commune with them is to enter a realm where immense power is available, but only at a price. This influence extends beyond ritual, weaving into the fabric of Haitian life. Many claim to have witnessed Loa manifestations firsthand. In the aftermath of the 2010 earthquake, survivors in Port-au-Prince described encounters with Gade Nebo, the Loa of death and resurrection. They spoke of a skeletal figure in a top hat guiding them through collapsed buildings to safety, vanishing once they reached open ground. The Loa's reach extends to the Haitian diaspora. In 2018, a community in Miami experienced events attributed to Ogu, the warrior Loa. Spontaneous fires erupted while broken machinery mysteriously repaired itself overnight. These incidents serve as reminders that in Haiti and beyond, the Loa are not merely mythological figures, but active, powerful entities. Fourth are the zombies, referred to in Haitian Creole as Zonbai, a living dead entity caught in a horrifying reality that permeates Haiti's rural villages and remote mountain regions. Through dark rituals, some Bokors tap into the darker energies of the spirit world, twisting the gifts of the Loa, stripping victims of their humanity, turning them into empty vessels devoid of will or soul. The zombie phenomenon represents a fate worse than death. Victims become mere shells of their former selves, alive but stripped of personality and autonomy. The renowned Haitian psychiatrist Dr. Lamarck Douillon documented cases of individuals who were declared dead, only to reappear years later in an altered state, their essence seemingly stolen away. The most notorious case involves Clairvius Narcisse, who fell ill in 1962 and was admitted to the Albert Schweitzer Hospital in Desjardins, Haiti. He was pronounced dead by American-trained doctors, and his body was interred. 18 years later, Narcisse reappeared in his hometown, claiming he had been enslaved as a zombie on a remote sugar plantation. He vividly recalled the sensation of hearing his death being pronounced and feeling the nails driven into his coffin, yet he was completely paralyzed and unable to respond. His condition was induced by a potent toxin administered by a Bokor. After being exhumed, Narcisse was kept in a dissociative state through a series of drug-induced stupors, forcing him into hard labor until his captor's death finally freed him. In 1980, 2 women from separate Haitian villages were found alive after being declared dead years earlier. They recounted similar experiences of being buried alive, exhumed by a Bokor, and kept in a dissociative state with hallucinogenic concoctions. These accounts underscore the chilling reality of Bokor's dark power, where life and death blur and personal autonomy is entirely stripped away. Zombie creation involves a precise combination of poisons, often derived from local fauna, such as the tetrodotoxin found in pufferfish and bufotoxins from toads. These substances place victims in a comatose state that mimics death even to the trained eye. Once buried, the Bokor retrieves the victim and administers a zombie cucumber to revive them in a state devoid of willpower, capturing their bon ange, the essence of their personality. This essence is stored in a secret location, leaving the body as a controllable shell. The sinister process of zombification is also used as a punishment for those deemed morally corrupt or as retribution for heinous acts. Unlike popular depictions of flesh-eating zombies, Haitian zombies are generally docile and used for manual labor, their personalities erased. Their existence serves as a warning of the Bokor's power and the dark potential of voodoo practices when twisted for personal gain. There are even claims that Haitian gangs exploit these mindless workers for their own nefarious purposes, using the enslaved zombies as tools in their ongoing wars. When it comes to true malevolence in Haitian voodoo, no entity embodies chaos and dark magic more than Mèt Kalfou. Fifth is Mèt Kalfou, the dark gatekeeper of chaos and malevolent magic in Haitian voodoo. This formidable LBBA stands at the threshold between worlds, commanding dark forces with a gaze that pierces souls. Unlike benevolent Papa Legba, Mèt Kalfou's domain is one of treachery and unbridled chaos. In dim peristyles and moonlit clearings, practitioners invoke Mèt Kalfou with trepidation, knowing his summoning could unleash forces beyond control. Bokor seek his favor for their most dangerous workings, harnessing his power to bend reality. During possession rituals, Mèt Kalfou's arrival warps the very air. Those mounted undergo a chilling transformation. Eyes flash with predatory gleam, voices drop to guttural rasps, movements become erratic. Witnesses describe an instinctive terror gripping the room, often requiring seasoned Mambos or Houngans to intervene. Mèt Kalfou's influence reaches beyond ceremonies. In Port-au-Prince's alleys and New Orleans' foggy streets, tales circulate of a tall, shadowy figure at deserted crossroads, offering cryptic warnings or sinister bargains. These encounters can alter destinies, sealing fates with whispered words that haunt long after their memory fades. One encounter occurred in Port-au-Prince in 1978. Multiple witnesses reported a dark figure at a busy intersection speaking to passers-by. Those who stopped claimed no memory of the conversation, but were left with persistent dread for days. Local voodoo practitioners believed this to be a rare manifestation of Mèt Kalfou himself, testing those brave or foolish enough to engage. Encounters with Mèt Kalfou are not confined to the waking world. He is known to visit dreamers, appearing at symbolic crossroads within their dreams, forcing them to confront life-altering choices. The LWA may emerge as a shadowy figure wearing a wide-brimmed hat, or as a sinister presence lurking just out of sight, guiding the dreamer's actions with subtle influence. These dreams leave a lasting impact, often compelling the dreamer to make drastic changes in their waking life, as if their very souls have been marked by the demon. Our sixth Haitian cryptid is the Lougarou, a formidable shapeshifter that goes beyond the typical werewolf mythos, capable of taking on various forms: dog, cat, bird, or even plants. Yet its most feared form remains that of a bipedal, dark-furred beast with a wolf-like head, striking terror into all who encounter it. Seen as divine retribution for breaking societal taboos or meddling in dark voodoo magic, the Lougarou is both a punishment and a warning. By day, the cursed individual may appear human, often adopting the guise of an elderly woman. But as night falls, they become a red-eyed predator, driven by an insatiable hunger. The Lougarou's connection to malevolent voodoo practices makes it particularly sinister. A Bokor's curse can force a soul into this monstrous form, binding them in servitude to dark forces. The Lougarou appears to have more in common with the Romanian prickoliții, the vampire werewolves, than with the traditional Louisiana Rougarou. Like prickoliții, they can drain blood and possess vampire-like qualities. Tales of the Lougarou have sparked panic and violence in rural communities, especially after Haiti's catastrophic 2010 earthquake. Sightings of the creatures surged during this period. Livestock and people vanished under mysterious circumstances, prompting villagers to form night patrols. In extreme cases, suspected Lougarous were hunted and executed by their own communities, as fear escalated to hysteria. In 2014, in a predominantly Haitian neighborhood in the United States, a pregnant woman, abandoned by her partner, befriended an elderly woman she met during prenatal visits. Despite family warnings, she allowed the stranger into her home and around her newborn twins. Soon after, one of the infants fell critically ill with an unknown condition. Doctors were baffled, and strange noises were heard outside the home at night. The mysterious visitor disappeared without a trace, leading the community to believe she was a Lougarou targeting the child for a ritual sacrifice. Although the baby eventually recovered, the family remains haunted by the experience and convinced that they had narrowly escaped a dark fate. While feared as monsters, Lougarous are not always mindlessly malevolent. In 2017, a young man from the voodoo-infused town of Okap, Haiti, faced a life-altering encounter. Ignoring local warnings to avoid the night, he continued his late-night outings. One evening, he stumbled upon a group of cats, and one spoke, warning him to leave. The following day, his elderly neighbor, supposedly abroad, revealed an unsettling knowledge of his movements. Weeks later, while lost in a dense fog, the glowing-eyed cat reappeared, delivering another warning. A ghostly voice soon echoed through the mist, commanding him to flee. Terrified, he finally heeded the warnings and abandoned his nocturnal habits. When his neighbor casually mentioned the night's events, he realized she had never left. She was the shape-shifting entity that had been warning him all along. The experience forced him to leave Okap and flee to France, forever marked by his brush with the supernatural. In 2018, near Port-au-Prince, a night watchman witnessed a terrifying transformation. An elderly woman on the property grotesquely contorted, bones snapping, fur sprouting as she dropped to all fours. The creature resembled a massive dog but retained disturbingly human-like eyes that seemed to plead for help even as it snarled. Convinced he had encountered a Lougarou, the man was left deeply shaken, his understanding of reality forever altered. Some Haitian communities believe that Lougarous often go after babies as they are considered pure and defenseless, making them more potent sacrifices in dark magic rituals. In many cases, Lougarous are compelled to sacrifice children annually to the Bokor who curse them, or they risk death themselves. Despite the fear they invoke, Lougarous can live among humans, hiding their monstrous nature under the facade of a normal life. Some are even able to have families and maintain a semblance of humanity during the day. Their true nature is often revealed only when their skin is found discarded during a transformation, or when an injury inflicted in animal form appears in their human state the next day. Breaking the curse of a Lougarou is no simple task. It requires intricate voodoo rituals, oils, and incantations to sever the ties binding a soul to this monstrous fate. Our seventh Haitian cryptid is Koushmá, a terrifying figure deeply rooted in Haitian folklore. While the term may translate to nightmare in French, Koushmá refers to a far more sinister presence, a demonic entity that manifests as a shadowy figure. Known for riding on the backs of its victims, it leaves them paralyzed and powerless, aware of everything happening around them, but unable to move or cry out for help. In 1995, a young man in a Haitian community reported an encounter with Koushmá after a heated argument with his family. He recalled going to bed angry, only to wake up in the middle of the night completely immobile. A heavy weight pressed down on his chest, and though he could hear the creaking of his bed frame and faint shuffling sounds, he was utterly paralyzed.
It felt like something was straddling me, pinning me down. I tried to scream for help, but no sound came out.
The man finally broke free when the family dog scratched at his door, snapping him out of the terrifying state. His mother later told him, "That's Koushmá. He got you. It happens when you go to sleep with a troubled mind." A similar incident in 2015, shared by a 23-year-old Haitian woman, described feeling a force grab her legs and yank them violently as she fell asleep. Paralyzed and terrified, she struggled to move but couldn't. When she finally regained control, she felt intense pain in her calves, as if she had been running for miles. The next morning, she discovered faint bruise marks along her shins. Her grandmother confirmed that Koushmá often leaves physical traces of its attacks, such as bruises, scratches, or bridle-like marks, signifying that the demon has ridden its victim throughout the night. In a 2020, a middle-aged man recounted a terrifying experience from his teenage years in Haiti. He heard a faint growling sound as he slept, followed by a sudden feeling of immense pressure on his back. Unable to breathe or call out, he endured the attack until his younger sister entered the room, breaking the spell. His family, well versed in Koushmá lore, explained that the demon preys on those who are upset or anxious, drawn to their vulnerability. Koushmá's characteristics are reminiscent of other creatures from global folklore. In Romania, the Moroi Mort, a malevolent spirit, suffocates its victims as they sleep, much like Koushmá's paralyzing weight. The Panamanian El Coco immobilizes children and fills them with fear, while the infamous Hat Man, a shadowy figure often seen during sleep paralysis, induces terror worldwide. These entities may share a common origin or represent different manifestations of the same creature. In Haitian communities, people use various protective measures to ward off Koushmá's visits, such as placing holy objects near the bed, scattering salt around the room, or sleeping on their stomachs to avoid being pinned down. It's also said that Koushmá is compelled to count small objects like beans or stones placed in a circle around the bed, keeping it distracted until dawn forces its retreat. Our 8th Haitian cryptid is the Soucouyant, a vampiric demonic entity known for its terrifying ability to transform into a glowing ball of fire, to attack its victims and suck their blood. The Soucouyant is believed to be created through dark deals with malevolent forces, granting it shape-shifting powers in exchange for eternal servitude. This creature is particularly feared for its capacity to slip through even the smallest cracks or crevices in homes to reach its victims, drawing life force from them as they sleep. The Soucouyant's true form is an elderly woman who, by day, appears harmless and unassuming. When night falls, however, she strips off her human skin and hides it in a secret location, transforming into a fireball that streaks across the night sky. This fiery form allows her to move silently and swiftly to her chosen victim's home. Once inside, she draws blood from her target, often choosing young children due to their purity and vitality. Sightings of the Soucouyant are widespread throughout rural Haiti, and many communities attribute unexplained injuries or mysterious deaths to her nocturnal attacks. Numerous rural communities in Haiti have reported seeing a glowing fireball flying through the night sky, which they believe to be the Soucouyant on her way to feed. These sightings often involve witnesses spotting a light moving swiftly and silently, vanishing before they can get a closer look. On October 29, 2017, YouTuber Radionic Tech caught the spirit orb caught on tape. Individuals sometimes wake up with unexplained red marks, bruises, or puncture wounds on their bodies, signs believed to be left by the Soucouyant after she has fed on their blood. Parents have reported finding such marks on their babies, leading to fear and vigilance during the night hours. The Soucouyant's evil can be countered if one is able to find her discarded skin, usually hidden in a mortar or similar vessel. By sprinkling coarse salt or pepper into the skin, she will be unable to put it back on, and the first rays of sunlight will destroy her. Another common method involves scattering grains of rice or salt around doorways and windows. The Soucouyant, compelled to count each grain before entering or leaving, can be delayed until dawn, whereupon she is forced to flee or perish in her exposed form. Our 9th Haitian cryptid is Bakulubaka, a malevolent spirit banished from the Loa pantheon for his chaotic nature. Originating from the Congo, Bakulubaka is depicted as a grotesque, short figure dressed in filthy white clothes, dragging chains through Haiti's dark forests. His glowing red eyes, brimming with hatred, serve as a chilling reminder of his hellish origin. Bakulubaka is more than a rogue spirit. He is aligned with demons and the devil himself. Even the Loa shun his presence. After a failed attempt to lead a revolt against the other spirits, he was exiled to the forest, where his chains now symbolize his eternal punishment. Unlike the Loa, who offer help based on mutual respect, Bakulubaka acts alone, summoned only for the darkest deeds, curses, illness, death, or the pursuit of wealth and power. Calling upon him is extremely dangerous, and those who do so without guidance often die. Bakulubaka craves offerings such as black goats, roosters, or even human lives, especially young virgins. He may grant wealth and protection, but the cost is steep, often demanding the sacrifice of loved ones or the summoner's own bloodline. His influence is so feared that even speaking his name is considered a grave insult in Haitian culture. Being labeled a baka suggests the person is demon-like. In 1993, a voodoo practitioner in Artabanite vanished after summoning Bakulubaka. Witnesses heard unearthly howls and clanking chains before he disappeared, never to be seen again. His family believes Bakulubaka took him for failing to honor his pact. One man in Cap Haitian claimed to have seen a hunched figure with glowing red eyes dragging a chain. The entity moved with unnatural speed, and as the man fled, he felt an oppressive force drain his energy. He later fell ill, plagued by nightmares of being chained in a dark forest. Local practitioners had to perform several cleansing rituals to rid him of Bakulubaka's lingering curse. Bakulubaka's presence often manifests as unexplained illnesses, sudden financial ruin, or the loss of loved ones. People living near forests have reported eerie lights, clanking chains, and livestock deaths with no clear cause. Those marked by him are relentlessly pursued by misfortune, as if hunted by an unseen force. Bakulubaka is a spirit that defies control. His volatility and demonic essence make him one of the most feared entities in Haitian lore, a demon who embodies humanity's darkest desires and the devastating consequences that come with them. Our 10th Haitian cryptid is Dyab, a feared spirit often seen as the embodiment of evil and misfortune. This demonic entity, whose name derives from the French word diable, meaning devil, is a shadowy figure with glowing red eyes, sharp teeth, and twisted horns. Dyab's presence in Haitian folklore represents chaos, ruin, and the darkest aspects of human nature. He thrives on negative energy, drawn to places of grief, anger, and desperation. Those who dare summon Dyab, often seeking revenge or to harm enemies, find themselves entangled in a web of deceit and ruin that spreads like a plague. In 1998, a farming community in Lougarou faced terror when crops withered overnight and livestock were found mutilated. Villagers reported seeing a horned shadow creeping through the fields at dusk, and children complained of nightmares involving glowing red eyes. In 2001, a family in Jacmel experienced eerie phenomena after a relative summoned Dyab to settle a dispute. Objects moved on their own, lights flickered, and disembodied whispers filled their house. The family eventually abandoned their home, believing Dyab had claimed it. Signs of Dyab's presence include a sulfuric smell, strange animal noises, and flickering lights. Those who encounter him describe an overwhelming sense of dread and an irresistible urge to flee. Even after being banished, Dyab's influence lingers, leaving a permanent scar on those marked by him. In Haiti, invoking Dyab is seen as an invitation to disaster, and those who cross paths with him find that escaping his grasp is nearly impossible. Dyab's corruption seeps into the very soil, leaving behind a curse that only the most experienced voodoo priests dare confront. As our journey through Haiti comes to an end, remember where voodoo and reality intertwine. The next encounter with the supernatural could be yours. For those curious about diving deeper into voodoo, visit Mademoiselle, an expert in the field, at the YouTube channel Chronicles of a Zoe. Stay curious, stay vigilant. This is DeadNet Studios, bidding you au revoir et bonne nuit. Goodbye and good night. Sleep well if you can.